The boy, who was never meant to argue anyone in the family, expected him to live, not because they were cruel, not because they were heartless, but because from the moment he was born, the doctor's face had already said goodbye. His lungs were too weak, his heart was too slow, his bones too fragile for a world that demanded strength. They named him Eli, a short name for a short life. At least, that was what everyone believed. Eli spent most of his childhood lying on the porch, watching the world move without him. Other children ran past the house, laughing, falling, shouting, living. Eli stayed still. He learned the sound of footsteps before he learned how to walk. He learned the meaning of longing before he learned the meaning of hope. His older brother, Mark, hated that sound. Not the footsteps, the stillness. Mark wanted a brother who could race him, a brother who could climb trees and break rules, a brother who could exist loudly. Instead, he had Eli's soft voice, thin arms, always tired, always in the way. Their parents never said it, but Mark felt it. Every conversation about Eli carried the same silent fear. How long do we have? And when you grow up next to someone who is expected to disappear, you start to treat them like they already have. Then, one summer morning, something impossible happened. Eli stood up. Not slowly, not shakily. He stood up as if his body had forgotten it was supposed to be broken. His legs didn't tremble. His heart didn't race. He simply stood, and Mark felt something he had never felt before. Pride, not love, not relief. Pride. From that day on, Mark made a decision without realizing it. Eli would become normal. No matter what it took, they started small, walking to the mailbox, then to the end of the street, then running. Eli laughed at first. Mark didn't. Every time Eli slowed down, Mark pushed harder. Again, faster. You're fine. Don't be weak. And Eli believed him, because when someone you love tells you that pain is progress, you stop listening to your body. Weeks passed. Eli's breathing became heavier, his smile thinner, his eyes tired, but Mark only saw improvement. He didn't notice the bruises. He didn't hear the cough at night. He didn't see the way Eli held his chest when he thought no one was watching. One afternoon, the sky turned grey. Storm clouds rolled in quietly, like a warning that no one wanted to hear. Mark decided it was the perfect day for a real test, a long run through the fields, past the old bridge, all the way to the river. Eli hesitated. I feel strange today, Mark smiled. You always feel strange. That's the point. So Eli ran. The rain started halfway. Not heavy, not dramatic, just enough to make everything slippery. Mark increased his pace. Eli tried to match it. His breathing broke into sharp pieces. His vision blurred, the world tilted. But Mark didn't look back. Halfway to the river, Eli fell. Not loudly, not violently. He simply collapsed like a puppet whose strings had been cut. The rain washed over his face. His fingers twitched, then stopped. Mark returned 10 minutes later. He thought Eli was joking. Then he touched his brother's hand. Cold, not dead, but close enough that the difference no longer mattered. In that moment, Mark finally understood something. He hadn't been trying to save Eli. He had been trying to erase him. Erase the weakness, erase the fear, erase the reminder that life does not guarantee fairness. And in doing so, he had erased the only brother he ever had. Eli survived barely. Weeks in the hospital, machines' silence. Doctors who now avoided Mark's eyes. Eli never ran again. His body returned to what it was always meant to be. Fragile, limited, real. But something else changed. Eli stopped trusting his brother. Not consciously, not openly, just quietly. He smiled less, spoke less, dreamed smaller, because when the person who is supposed to protect you becomes the reason you almost disappear, something inside you never heals. And Mark grew up. He got stronger, more confident, more successful. But every time he ran, every time his heart beat fast, every time his lungs burned, he remembered the rain and the body on the ground. And the truth he never said out loud. Some people don't need to be fixed, they need to be accepted. And sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world is not weakness. It is love mixed with pride. If this story made you feel something, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more deep psychological stories like this. Years later, Mark stood alone on that same bridge. The river below moved slowly, indifferent to memory. Eli was alive. But the version of Eli who believed in him was gone forever. And Mark finally understood the cruelest lesson of all. You can outgrow your mistakes, but you can never outrun their consequences.